Today we're going to do a window together. What I've done is I picked a couple outfits we've already got kind of layered on the mannequins. And what I'd like to do is make some arms to go into sleeves to really fill those sleeves out so we can give them some attitude. So what I'm going to do, I use about 12 sheets of tissue per sleeve. I'll show you how I make one. I take about 3 at a time and just kind of scrunch them up toward me a little bit. There's 6. There's 9. And you can use more or less if you want. It kind of depends on how fat you want your sleeve. The last 3, I'm just going to wrap around this whole bunch. What you want to do is kind of pull it toward you and keep it pretty tight. You want it to be a kind of a thick, firm arm. Just roll it up, get to your seam. I usually put a piece of tape in the middle, and one on each end. What I'm going to do, this will be the top of the shoulder that goes up into the sweater. I'm just going to curl that back a little bit to make it kind of a nice, smooth, rounded shape. So that's an arm. I made a couple of them here already. Let me show you how I put them in the forms. What we did is we picked 2 outfits that really kind of went together. We got a little purple and green in here. We kind of picked it up in the sweaters down here. We want to really show this orange color. So we layered it up with an orange t-shirt, an orange and brown plaid. It's a lot of color, but it makes a really nice kind of cohesive group. So I'll do this one first. I'll put orange sleeve up there. What I like to do is grab one and just bring your sweater right through the sleeve of the jacket. In this case, we got a long sleeve mock too. So I'm going to push the sleeve right up from the bottom up to the shoulder. And what you might want to do is make sure you get this all so it's really nice and clean. Sometimes that'll get bunched up in there. Make sure you kind of twist it so you can push your sleeve right up into it. The other sleeve I've already got done. What I'm going to do is I want to kind of vary the poses. This one I'm just going to bend the jacket back a little bit. And right about where the elbow would be, give that a little bit of a crease. I've already got the cuff turned over to show the contrasting trim. In this case, I'm going to push the jacket back and just stuff the sleeve part down into the pocket. And I can still show the cuff of that jacket by doing it that way. I just kind of fluff it so it looks kind of like a natural arm. The other one I'm going to take, I think I'm just going to put that right in the jacket pocket. There again, I've got the sleeve run all the way through, right down to the cuff. Curve it where the elbow would be. And what you might want to do is just pull the jacket back, stuff the sweater into the pocket, and then just kind of adjust it so you can still see that contrast trim. So now I've got a whole complete outfit. You can come back if you want to fluff the sweater a little bit. If you wanted to, you could give a little bit of attitude and maybe pull one side down, have this side up a little bit, like the hands in the pocket. Just kind of play with it, get kind of a look you think looks really natural. So that's one. Second one, we got the sleeve pulled down. What I'm going to do is make sure I can get that stuffed up in there. I'm going to run my hand through it. You see how it's kind of twisted together. Just kind of run it through up to the shoulder. Now I know I can get the sleeve up in there without too much trouble. So I grab one of these. Just push it up from the bottom again and take it right up to the shoulder. And that's the reason I kind of crimp that shoulder. Now it kind of lays with a nice smooth edge. It doesn't stick out like it's unnatural. I'm going to leave the bottom just show like this because I might still want to use that. If it gets to be too long, you can always cut this off or just fold it, tuck it back underneath. I'm going to wait until I get the other one in and kind of see how I want to do it. So here's my second one. Same idea, I'm going to make sure I can get my sleeve up there first. Unbutton the cuff. And just make sure you can kind of untwist that shirt so it's not caught up in your sweater sleeve anywhere. And here's my rounded top that I kind of cupped over. If you want to, a lot of places they'll take cinch staple. You can even run some staples through here. Just make sure you don't have any edges sticking out that could catch on your merchandise. But once you have these made up, you can use it over and over again for a number of times until they'll get the point where they just don't really hold a shape. Then you want to replace them. But you could use one of these for a whole season easily, so you're not using a lot of tissue. You see as I push that up, it really goes right up to the shoulder. Forms a real natural line where the shoulder meets the sleeve. I think I'll just I'll button one button of the cuff. You may want to take a cuff too and turn one over like we did with the jacket. It's kind of just personal choice, however you want to show it. Okay, so I got the sleeve done. I'll left the tissue sticking out a little bit because I'm going to be able to hide that. I've got it layered with a nice t-shirt underneath it, contrast color. What I want to do is make sure these two don't look exactly the same. So I think on this one, I might actually do a couple little pins. Just to show a little bit of that waistband on that. So I'm just going to tuck that up a little bit because I know that's going to show if I don't. Stick that in the cuff. I'm going to button that up just on the first button. Okay, I'm going to grab a couple pins here, and these are just pins out of a shirt. You can buy nicer, longer pins if you need them. What I'm going to do is just give it a little bit of an attitude, a little bit of a character. That way I don't have every form looking exactly the same. There again, I'm just going to bend it right where the elbow would be. I think on this I'm just going to pull it up here because I got this sleeve down. I think I'll put this one up. You just want to be careful you don't snag your shirt or your sweater, so I'm going to get that kind of into the shirt and the sweater, and I'm just going to kind of pin it in, pin it back a little bit. I think on this sleeve I'm just going to stick it in the pocket. So I'm just going to fold that again where that crease is. Maybe leave the tissue hang out because when I do it this way, this will stick in the pocket, you're not going to see it. That gives me something to kind of hold on to so it stays in the pocket. I'm just going to pull the cuff down a little bit. What I'm going to do is kind of hide a little bit of that. We give this kind of an attitude, it's almost like the guy's got his hand in his pocket. So I'm just going to let that kind of cover right over that cuff, hide my tissue a little bit. And deliberately do it just a little bit, it's a little bit sloppy, but it's really natural. It's the way you'd actually look if you're wearing the sweater. So now we've got two different forms, two different looks. We've actually turned the window around this way so you can see what we're doing. I'm just going to place these in the window. Sorry about that. What I'd like to do is, rather having these really spread apart, if I can get a little bit of an overlap, because I'm not really hiding anything here. If I take this guy, I got them at the same angle, and rather than having like a lot of space between them, I like to cluster them. If you get a nice cluster grouping, you get a little more impact. I'm not really losing anything here because I can see this jacket's the same as that sleeve. Everything's showing here. What we did is we grabbed a few lay-down pieces. And since we really haven't gotten our full fall shipment, we're kind of pulling some older pieces together, but I think it's fine to show older goods with new goods as long as the colors kind of make a story. And what I did here, I'll set this down. I've got 3 lay-down sweaters. On this one we pulled some of the orange with the blue because we got the orange in the sweater. What I'm going to do when I lay that down, like we did in the wall, but I'm going to reverse this. So when I lay that down in the window, I'm going to see this whole quarter zip coming down into the window. I pulled a second one that's really just going to be there kind of for filler. I did do a little bit shorter fold on it. I kind of tucked the tail in. What that's going to do is give me a nice thick edge here. I'm going to lay it on there like that. I can still see the shirt, collar, all the details. The top one, I just took a shirt out of stock, put it up into the sweater, put the sweater over it. I decided to leave the cuff because this will be on top. I want to show a little bit of that sleeve. I just kind of rolled the cuff over. Always hide your tags whenever you can. If you don't want to clip them, just kind of stick them up so they don't really show. And by all means, take all this packing out. Take the plastic out, take the cardboard out, take the pins out, and really show that collar, you know, how you'd want to wear it. Okay, so now I got 3 looks that I think look pretty good. There's a lot of color. It's not quite a whole collection, but we've kind of pulled, like I say, some older, newer pieces. I'm going to lay that right on that table. So now when we reverse this, this is what you're going to see looking from the store. We've got 2 forms nicely dressed. There's a lot of color that doesn't quite coordinate, but I think we're able to pull the green and the tans and the oranges together. There's a little bit of blue in the sweater. I try to match that blue with this blue in here. The orange in the shirt picks up the orange in the sweater. So it all kind of coordinates. It all makes a nice cohesive look. So that's our window.